Yeah, today it's kind of a slow morning, which is kind of nice for me personally. I like when it's just a little slow and I don't have to rush. Don't know if I can say the same thing for the viewers though. Some of the viewers are kind of like want me to rush and make these smoothies so fast. I'm going to show you guys a few health secrets today. Well, why? Why? Why are we going to show us health secrets? Well, because apparently it's necessary. People really. This is a smoothie video that for some reason I've been making a lot of these, trying to show people how to do it. Somehow people still don't find them. I'm a little surprised. Even some of my viewers were commenting to me, like, what smoothie videos? I'm like, I go live almost like every morning. Oh, hello. Hello, dear. So yeah, we're just doing a few of the little, I mean, you can call them secrets, but basically they're methods that most people just don't know, and that's how to clean water, which I already did. I set up my device for cleaning water. Didn't think you guys would want to see that. And also my phone is about to die, so I have to plug it in, so it's hard to move around. But yeah, basically we're making what I call the hydrogen smoothie, but these are some really good secrets on how to get nutrients in you. There's apparently data, which is actually, this is a funny story. This is exactly, I had this doctor call me, and this doctor called me because, well, they saw my blood work. And one of the things that apparently happens to patients as they age and get older, this is kind of just a common thing. And I've noticed that it's semi-common, even you could even say with younger people, but yeah, it definitely gets worse with age. And I personally think I'll have to, well, I have to make some videos about that later too, actually. But basically, the proper hydrogen, not just any hydrogen, and also the way that you use it. So you have to use, in my opinion, remember, none of this is medical advice. In fact, there's even lacking a little bit of scientific data on this part, but I've already discovered it on my own. So it appears to be working. So I think there will be scientific evidence in the very near future about this. But what happens as you age, there's a lot of things that happen as you age. A lot of really, and some of the stuff is completely verifiable, meaning we already know for a fact. Like, for example, as you age, you make less and less stomach acids. We just know that. And the issue with aging, one of the issues, and I'll give you some of my little secrets here too, is that one, you're not absorbing your nutrients quite the same anymore. Um, this is really, really important because being deficient causes a lot of problems. You're also not as well hydrated, by the way. And even if you're not old, it's a good idea to start implementing, yikes, some of this stuff's really going bad. We're gonna have to watch this for sure. It's gonna take me a little while, but that's okay. I mean, this is my morning routine. I'm cool with it. But I do need to go grocery shopping. Yikes. So as you get older, you're definitely gonna have issues, and even in people's youth, of absorbing specific nutrients. And the reason that the doctor had called me after seeing my blood results was because they just couldn't believe the amount of nutrients that I'm absorbing. I'm not. It's all about overcoming deficiencies, guys. This is a huge part of health. Is it the only part of health? No, but it's it's absolutely crucial. Think about it like either a house or a car. You don't want your car to have, like, deficiencies for a house would be something like in the neighborhood of not having all the pieces for the house. And if you don't have all the windows and everything or all the support beams, it's just not going to be as strong structurally. And that's the same way it goes for the body and the human health. And so you really got to get your absorption of nutrients. The problem is, and this is exactly why the doctor called me, the doctor called because they're like, I don't understand how you're achieving this, because she had literally told me, I've never, like, ever, decades of working in the field, she said, I'd never seen results like yours. So I've never seen anything like this. And she thought there must be a secret. There must be something that you're doing. And it's like, yeah, and it's not even complicated. I mean, in my opinion, any doctor should understand this. But then again, doctors don't know a lot about hydrogen either, though. In fact, I see them screw it up all the time. I see them using the wrong kinds of hydrogen, and because I never support anything where they use chemicals to make it. And I've seen some doctors using devices that have chemicals that are a really bad idea. But then again, that's in the US. They don't do that in Japan. They seem to be more well informed. Just like with natto, they seem to be more well informed in Japan about it because you have to be cautious when you use it, depending if you're on some type of statin or certain disorders that you may potentially have. America, they'll probably start learning about it. America seems to be about 10, well, 1 or 2 decades, maybe even 3 sometimes behind certain places, like even Japan, about certain things, not all things, obviously. So anyway, you really got to figure out how to absorb the nutrients properly. And one of those secrets ultimately is the right type of water and the right type of, well, hydrogen. So I mean, the super clean water is a base for it. I'm not, and by the way, I'm not making any medical claims or giving you guys any medical advice. Obviously, consult your physicians. But the other secret is what I'm showing you right now. And let's see here. T1 Rider says, "Hey Greg, how do you use water filter in your shower?" Well, um, I will tell you this. You have to read the fine print when it comes to shower filters. I have extensively researched that subject as I have researched so much in regards to health. What happens, and it's kind of stupid. It's so stupid. I got a friend who he makes me laugh because it's like, so stupid. Everything's so stupid. But when it comes to shower filters, the fine print that you have to read. So for example, let's say the shower filter is using the carbon filter. Well, if you read the fine print on carbon filters, they don't tend to really work in hot water. So unless you're taking cold showers, is it really going to do much? That's the first thing that people don't notice when it comes to such a thing. The other thing with filters, and you're probably going to use any filter that you're going to use for your shower is going to be relatively mediocre, guys. I mean, to get extremely clean water doesn't happen in 1 second. I mean, I could show you how I'm cleaning my water, and it literally takes anywhere from 3 to 6 hours to make the cleanest water, and that's just 1 gallon. So imagine the water passing through a filter for your shower, and it's hot on top of it all. I don't think you're going to get the quality of water that you want. Your best bet, you can get a water filter for your shower. I'm not saying not to do it. What I am saying is that you might want to just take shorter, quicker showers. It's the best you can do instead of sitting there forever, with the hot water hitting you, which I know everybody likes to do, and I totally get it. It's one of the reasons that as you guys probably well know, I'm going to be moving, because one of the things that I'm following in my life, as crazy as this may sound, I got some wacky stuff that I do, guys. I don't share everything with you guys because it's just too out there. And I know people are like, no, I'm really open-minded. It's like, yeah, well, I don't need to necessarily open myself to judgment, because that's always what happens, because it's not like I've never tried to open up about such things. But all I'll tell you is that I'm following the water. I mean, I'm specifically choosing where I go, literally just water. And a lot of it has to do because of showering and bathing and all these type of things. And but also as far as drinking it, I know how to clean it, but it is very, very, very tricky to get the kind of water that you're going to want for bathing. Now, I used to, as crazy as it sounds, I would literally carbon distill a ton of water, and I mean like massive amounts of it, by the way, like enough to fill a bathtub. Okay. And now this is how silly I am, or how crazy I am, or whatever you want to believe. But I mean, it's clean water, So I did the clean water. I made a tub, and you can basically rinse off really quick. Like basically you shower really fast. And then I would get in this huge tub of the cleanest water, basically known to man, because I purified it. It took forever. And I've done stuff like that. That was when I was really, really, really trying to heal. I was all gung-ho on healing. Because, hey, if you don't got your health, honestly, I don't think you got anything. Okay, well, let's go with these nutrients. We're talking about absorption of nutrients a second ago. This is how to do it, in my opinion. Even as you age, I know people want to take supplements, and that's fine if you want to do that. I mean, whatever. This is food. And so this is why I'm using food, because the body assimilates it best. And if I didn't answer your question, by the way, let me know and we'll go back to it. Okay. Bringer says, I definitely don't get the notifications for that. I'll have to go roll back through your channels page and check it out. Cool. Northern Yeti says, I think it's because of the tabs in YouTube. Your smoothie videos show up on live, but not on the home screen of your channel. Probably. It would be better to filter it before heating then. Yes. It's okay. I'm very out there too. You're right, though. People will definitely judge. That's what people do, you know? And I've observed it. And you know what? I don't need to tell them. I mean, I have zero need to share any of that stuff. That's where it gets out there where I don't expect anybody to understand. And that's okay. I'm okay with it. I don't have a need for people to know just yet. Okay, so I'm going to use this powder because we know that our food is deficient. So this is a bunch of superfoods condensed. No pills here. I don't like pills because binders and different things they use on them, they're never as pure as the raw material. And so I'm putting these powders to overcome potentially any nutritional deficiency. This is like a multivitamin from food. Oh yeah, Power Shake from iShopPurium.com is where I get it, because people always want to know where to get it. And then if you want a $50 coupon, you can use the code Uprising144K if you want. It does help support the channel, but you don't have to if you don't want to. It's totally fine. Doesn't matter either way. I'm going to put some raw cacao, organic. I don't always put this stuff in unless I can find it. I do like it. I was doing a little series there on the libido because a lot of people are interested in that. And you know, increasing libido has everything to do with your health. You know, I mean, if your health, if everything's running right, then you should be just fine in those areas. And that's part. You know, there are a few secrets. There are a few things like the boron, the cacao. Some of these things, if you haven't seen that video, you could go back and watch that one if you'd like. And let's see here. Let's get some greens in here. This is the one that I was really kind of waiting for. So yeah, so I guess back to the story of this doctor now that I remember is that it's all about the absorption of the nutrients. Now, in my opinion, now there's a few things that really help. One, just having really clean water. I mean, clean water, is it going to help you absorb nutrients better? Well, you want to be properly hydrated. And if you're going to be properly hydrated, you want to be hydrated with clean water, not water that has a ton of garbage in it, which actually, you know, instead of garbage, I'll say it's just plain scary what's in water. That's why when people make hydrogen with like cheap stuff, like, you know, cheap metals, chemicals like lye, I mean, you're taking all the purity out of what you're trying to do there. And the whole point is to have purity. If you notice, everything I do, look, Purium, because they have the purest stuff from what I've seen on the lab test as far as not having chemicals in the foods. Everything I try to do is organic, clean the water, because it's those things that disrupt our health in more ways than one. And so the point is that you're really trying to do things the cleanest way possible. That's what I've learned. That's been my journey. And, you know, because when the body is, you know, pure from all these things, it just runs better. You're going to give yourself a better shot at improving your health. So, yeah, so the first thing for absorbing nutrients, like one of the secrets to health, which apparently even doctors don't know, which is pretty shocking. I gotta say, guys, it's pretty shocking because it's so basic. But anyway, clean water. Now, the secret ingredient, the one that, of course, a doctor would not know anything about, and almost nobody would know because people don't really know this. I don't even think there's that much data to support it, but it is one of my theories, and it will probably be proven true. As I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but as the majority of my theories have been proven true, and the ones that have actually been tested. So for them, because it makes sense. It's not that I'm a psychic genius or something silly like that. It's just makes sense if you understand how the body works. And the secret is you definitely drink a lot of hydrogen water, which I already did. I already had my 1 liter this morning on an empty stomach. That's part of my protocol of properly made hydrogen water with, of course, a really good quality hydrogen generator. So I'm doing it right. So then I do that. And then after I'm well hydrated, I start making this hydrogen smoothie. And why the hydrogen smoothie? Well, because absorption of nutrients has a lot to do with fiber. And fiber works as a wonderful time release. Okay, let's put some soaked. Okay, now this is actually also for libido, but it's good for your health too. I got sun-dried raisins soaked in hydrogen water to enhance them. So I'm going to pour those in there. So you get a little bit of that. It gives us some sweetness, and it has natural boron. That's another thing that it has naturally in it, which is one of the minerals that seems to be really good for regulating what they call sex hormones. These are, I haven't done these for a while. These are walnuts soaked in hydrogen water. I love walnuts in my smoothie. They make them taste creamy. They make them taste really good. And why do I soak them in hydrogen water? Well, for a long time, people thought, dude, you're crazy. That's not going to do nothing. And then what started coming out? Data. Somebody actually tested this in Japan. And they're like, wow, turns out hydrogen actually soaks into these fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, whatever it is that you're doing, and seems to enhance them. Now, see, here's my theory. I'll tell you one of my theories, guys. Probably shouldn't even go into this, but I'll do it anyway. The theory is that I think that, I would like to say that I already know. So for me, it's not even just a theory, but it just makes all the sense in the world. It's just that apparently science nobody's thought about it just yet. But see, hydrogen's a part of everything. One of the reasons it's the number one thing on the periodic table. And I'm actually I don't think I can move the camera over here, but I'm just soaking some more raisins in the water for tomorrow. And some people are like, why would you soak them? Well, look, raisins are dry, okay? As nuts are typically dry. And you don't want, ideally, especially if you're trying to absorb nutrients and all this good stuff, you don't want to bring dried food into the body because that pulls water out of your system. And your GI system requires a lot of water. Let me tell you something. If you're trying to absorb nutrients, see, this is when you try to explain something like this to a doctor, they're just like, oh, I thought there was just some magic pill or something. It's like, sorry, it's not complicated, but no, sorry, there's no just some simple product. There is some simple products for super clean water and hydrogen, and that's going to help, but it's not going to it's not what you're probably looking for. But you want to bring water. So you're going to notice this pattern with the things that I'm doing. All this is bringing water into the system. All the vegetables contain a lot of water. Fruits contain a lot of water. Well, heck, what's the next ingredient we're about to bring up? Organic blueberries, awesome for the vascular system. It's made of primarily water. Our body needs water, guys, but it also needs fiber. But I don't mean any kind of fiber, by the way. Some people are like, oh, okay, I'll just supplement some fiber. No, I would not personally do that. You want the natural fiber, the way the earth made it, basically, from fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, all these natural fibers within these foods. Why? Well, because I've seen the studies and they're different. So there is differences. Just like, just like sugar. Sugar's a really good example. Some people might be like, oh, sugar's terrible for you. You know what? Sugars are different. Processed sugar, the white, and there's studies already to prove it. The way that the body assimilates processed sugar versus sugar from, let's say, an apple or a carrot is going to be very, very different. You can't just extract one thing, and expect it to just do everything. And this is one of my gripes with this whole health industry lately. Everybody wants to find just one ingredient, like, oh, copper, and go into all the good benefits of copper. And the thing is, and then they try to sell you some supplement. And health is an overall thing. And you want to get a nice balance. So again, fruits and vegetables come with a bunch of things. There's enzymes. Again, there's different types of fiber. There's different types of minerals. There's all sorts of different things. Like here, I'm going to bring some out. Some of them are anti-parasitic. Some get the body to produce nitric oxide to open up blood vessels. Some of them affect, there's just like, here, I'm going to show you a few little secrets here in a second. It's an overall thing. It's not just a one, and that's what they try to do. That, by the way, that's a dirty little secret, in my opinion. The whole health industry will pick one thing. They'll just pick one thing. Like, oh, magnesium's really good for you. And then they'll sell you some magnesium supplement. And then, oh, Copper's good for you, no? Sell you some copper thing. And see, they can do that forever because we're made up of all sorts of minerals and nutrients, and then everybody continues with a cupboard full of all these pills, which, by the way, you need to look at lab tests, because if you start seeing what these things are actually made of, and then you start thinking, well, I'm taking so many of them, is this good for my kidneys potentially? Now, I'm not making any claims, all right? I'm just giving you my opinions. I personally think that there's better ways, and that's why I use a purine powder. I mean, look, if I were to show you the nutritional label on this, which I can if you guys really want to get into it, you'll see that it's rich in zinc, rich in copper. You know, obviously it's got calcium, and I think it's got, vitamin C, and it's going to have, it's almost like a multivitamin, but it's in food form. And talking about absorption of nutrients, clean water, super hydration when you add hydrogen. I mean, hydrogen is kind of the secret, guys. You know why? I'll tell you why. Okay, I'm going to tell you why it's a secret. Nobody's realized this yet, apparently, but I know they're going to, and probably because they watch my videos, because that's what happens. I've seen it happen many times before. But the point is the body becomes deficient in hydrogen. Okay, once the body becomes deficient in hydrogen, and that happens as you either age or, your body's just not running right, because, by the way, the majority of your hydrogen is made in your gut. So if your gut's all screwed up, which, by the way, because people are eating processed food, they don't consume enough fiber, there's a bunch of chemicals in our food because, maybe you're not buying organic as much as you should. All these things are going to affect hydrogen production, in my opinion. Okay, these are just my opinions. And once you affect hydrogen production, you got a problem. I mean, that's because it's like the foundation of your house. I don't care how good of siding or roof you have, if your foundation's all screwed up, and this is why I always tell people the foundation is extremely clean water and the best hydrogen you can get your hands on. No crappy stuff. And not just inhalation. Definitely don't want to just be inhaling. I don't want to say it's foolish, but you definitely need to be drinking the hydrogen water. The data is pretty clear on that one, actually. And that data shocked everybody, including the people who did the studies. Nobody expected the water to be as good as it was. But you know what? Again, nature. You guys know that place called Lourdes, France, where all these people claim miraculous healing by drinking the water? Well, the water of Lourdes, full of hydrogen. It comes from nature. It wasn't something that we just invented. It's something that nature already had. And one of the things that I was trying to get at about food and just health in general is that hydrogen is at the core. It's at the core of all this stuff. So, for example, and let's put some beets in here. So, when I soak these, these foods, like right now, they're just sitting there soaking in the hydrogen water. Hydrogen, in my opinion, will enhance just about anything, which that's what it's been showing to do. It's enhancing the fruits, it's enhancing the vegetables. Now, granted, I will tell you this, you're gonna want to make the hydrogen a specific way. I don't mean to beat that dead horse, but here's the problem, because if you try to soak the hydrogen in fruits and vegetables with, for example, something that alters the pH of the water, like there's a lot of these machines out there. I think the Kangans are probably one of the most popular ones. It's not the same. It's not the same when you do it that way. Not only that, you really want pH neutral when you're eating stuff. And what I mean by pH neutral, I'm talking about the water, because there's different ways to create different pHs of water. I mean, think about it. If alkalinity was everything, you would just be, you could add baking soda to water, and then there you go, it's alkaline water. And that's not the way to do it. However, a lot of these foods do help affect the pH of your blood in a positive way, so that you can actually get proper absorption of, believe it or not, oxygen. Because we already breathe plenty of oxygen. A lot of people who are really big on supplementing oxygen, I'm not big on it. It doesn't mean that I'm not, like, I'm saying it's terrible. It's just that you just don't want to do it very often. Everything's about timing. And you do not want to use oxygen regularly, regardless of whether you pair it with hydrogen. You really don't want to use it regularly. Does it help? For sure. I mean, there's somebody who is on oxygen who recently contacted me, and he was noticing huge differences by using the hydrogen with oxygen. But what it's helping him is actually get off the oxygen. And that's kind of what you want, because if you're not absorbing the oxygen properly in your environment, then there's a problem with your body already. And supplementing it, I mean, even anybody in the medical field knows you don't want to just have somebody on oxygen all the time. I mean, that's not the goal at all. You want to be able to get them off the oxygen. And a lot of times what's really more beneficial is quite the opposite, which is limiting your oxygen. That's where all the high altitude training comes in, and you actually limit the oxygen because the way of your body reacts to it. So, but I'm not saying not to ever do it, because once in a while there is therapeutic value in doing it. That's why I'm not totally against it. It's just sometimes it's like anything. It's like there's really amazing therapeutic value for vitamin D. Vitamin D is absolutely incredible. Some people go a little too overboard and they're like, I don't want to take huge amounts of vitamin D. It's like, guys, life is all about balance. You got to find that magic number, because too much of anything is not good for you. The only thing that I have found that appears to be probably the safest thing if you were to take too much of anything, and that would be, in my opinion, this on my personal opinion, would be hydrogen. Like one of the few things that you could do. Otherwise, too much of anything would be not good, even water. So, magic ingredient, here it comes. Natto. Okay, let's see here. Let's read some of your stuff here. I guess you guys are saying, where are you? Wow, a lot of comments here. Could you please show the package names closer? Oh, wow. Okay, lots of comments here. Holy cow. It's okay. I'm very out there. Oh yeah. Hi guys. Hi there. Love to bathe every night. Helps the pain. Yes, bathing is wonderful. Could you please show the package closer? Thank you. Are you talking about this one? This is Power Shake, if that's the one you're talking about. And that's the one that I like to use. There are a lot of things, weird even, that are going on in the world. People are more awake and not woke. My hydrogen machine gave up the ghost, and I can't afford a new one right now. I do still have my Alexa Pure. Well, you'd have to call me on that one if you want. I don't know exactly what kind of machine you're using, but hydrogen machine, I'm lost. Does it saturate water with hydrogen? That's correct. Greg has the machine that makes the hydrogen. Oh, I see. I definitely want to get one too. They're very expensive, and you only want the Japanese made one that Greg has. They can be ordered online, right? The company is called Holy Hydrogen. Well, check with Greg. I got mine through him. Oh, okay, cool. Holy Hydrogen, I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, I got some codes sometimes and stuff like that. I had forgotten, as I got mine a few years ago. Bringer says, thank you for the help. I'm trying to get my body more molecularly healthy so that I can then conduct my own experiments on my body and try to discover, disprove about my current hypothesis. There you go. Yes, thank you. It says, yes. Okay, natto. This is actually from the food. If there was ever a supplement in regards to natto or natto kinase, I'll let you guys know. I mean, I'm not seeing a ton that I'm like super interested or anything right now, but I'm using the actual whole food, which is this. Let's go into activating it. You activate it by stirring it. And so, yes, hydrogen, I think, really makes a really massive difference. I actually personally think, and there's no research on this yet, and I don't even know if I should say, because the moment I say it, I know I'll just say, okay, I'll say that, think about this. What's the main ingredient in stomach acids? Because stomach acids, in my opinion, have a lot to do with this inability to absorb nutrients properly as we age, because they decline as you age. Wow, this stuff is really activating it. Look how foamy it's getting. See, that's why you activate it. Oxygenate the good bacteria. Oh yes, and it's rich in vitamin K. It's a natural statin, which is something we want actually, because the way the hydrogen moves. See, combining hydrogen with natto, guys, unbelievable. And they've shown that natto helps oxygenate cancer cells. That's been kind of interesting. It's actually been shown to have some good positive effects on dementia and Alzheimer's. I think part of it is the oxygenation, and it's also part of it would be the kind of the natural statin effect that it has. And I'm telling you something, you combine this, why do you think I put it in here every day, guys? You combine this, and of course, it's got a bunch of other properties that I will not speak of, because, I don't have free speech, and right now we're on YouTube. But, well, you know what? Boy, it's really been growing on me. A lot of people won't like the taste, I don't think. There's a special little mustard. I keep these for later. I gotta tell you, I did have a cheat day yesterday. I had a cheat day. I ate not the perfect meal, and it was delicious, but boy, it did not feel good on my body. I think I had 2 cheat days in a row, and which is really too bad. But people like to go out, and I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? Argue with everybody all the time about going out? So I join people, and I order the best stuff I can order. But man, it did a little bit of a number on me. I can definitely feel that it had an effect. Okay, but we do what we can, and then we're back to our smoothies, back to the healthy lifestyle. Okay, let's do some celery. Celery has obviously, we've already gone through all the magical properties of all these different foods. I've done videos on that if you guys haven't seen them. Obviously, the main thing you're going to notice, like I told you guys before, these foods are carrying water. They're full of fiber. And yes, they have minerals and other nutrients, which are pretty amazing, but we also know that they're deficient. That was the whole reason I put that powder in at the beginning. But I'm almost like not tricking the body really, but like I'm combining the nutrients from the powders with the other beautiful attributes of these fruits and vegetables. And that, in my opinion, helps with the absorption of the nutrients. They work together is what it is. They really do work together. And that's what I'm doing. And we're going to add, so what are the 2 things that are mostly deficient in these fruits and vegetables and just foods in general? Well, in my opinion, it's minerals and nutrients. So that's why I put the powder in. I put the powder in for the nutrients, and then we're going to add some of the minerals here in a moment. And we're just making, quote unquote, the perfect concoction. I mean, all you got to do, in my opinion, that will significantly help improve anybody's life. And it's measurable. See, this is the thing. I don't like to go off of opinions. That always bothers me when someone's like, oh, I tried this and I felt really great. I'm like, be careful, because I know what that is, and those are not good for you. People are like, well, yeah, but I felt great. It's like, well, placebo effect is a powerful thing. You got to know facts too. You can't just, because some of this stuff is like just ridiculous. Like it's almost like somebody saying, well, I drank a Coca-Cola and I felt fantastic. I think Coke is good for me. It's like, okay, well, we already kind of know for a fact that it's probably not the best thing for us to drink water with that much sugar in it. I mean, I've seen them do the blood work on those actually. It's crazy. So, I like to go off a little bit of facts. And so I think if you can do in the mornings, load up on really clean hydrogen water and make just a smoothie in the morning. All of it will probably take you about altogether, I don't know, to drink the water and then make the smoothie. I'd probably get it all done in 40 minutes, I guess. Now it takes longer when I do the videos or if I just want to take my time. And yeah, I'll tell you what though, that stuff yesterday, I just realized not only is it not organic, which is like, okay, I'm fine, but there was so much salt in that food. I don't put that kind of levels of salt in my food, and boy, did I feel it. It's funny because I came home and I felt so thirsty and I could not figure out why. And I had some water, and I had some orange juice. I just kind of felt like drinking something, and I was like, man, I am so thirsty. What is wrong with me? I couldn't figure out what the heck was wrong with me. And then I realized, wait a second, that's right. There was so much salt in the food. And I just kind of didn't think about it. But boy, did it hit me. Oof, I felt swollen too. I'm not used to doing that to myself. I like the natural minerals and natural salts that come in the food. Processed stuff or stuff at the restaurants is just not. I mean, and it was supposed to be a cleaner restaurant actually. It wasn't like I ate McDonald's or something, but it was a Japanese restaurant actually. But even so, too much salt. That was probably one of the biggest issues with the Japanese diet. Actually, is that they do have a lot of salt. But then again, if you try to compare it to American diets, there's lots of salt and sugar. I know it's you do what you can, right? Well, I know I do what I can. And so, yeah, the secrets are the fibers. Definitely the fibers from fruits and vegetables, and really clean water and hydrogen. But we got to get those nutrients in you. We got to get them to absorb. That is the tricky part. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, kind of looking forward now. This smoothie is going to taste like chocolate. I like raw cacao. I know that it doesn't have a sweet taste to it, but when you combine it with all these fruits and vegetables, it does have a sweet taste. It tastes like chocolate. My mama always said chocolate was so good for me. And you know what? It might be. You know, I've used I always try to find creative ways to get things that I like. Like if I do like chocolate, but I know that they have processed sugar and milk and just I don't know, garbage mixed with it. What I'll do is I don't do this anymore, but I used to combine it. I used to put some chocolate with dates. The sweetness would bring out the flavor. I'd even use coconut cream. Sometimes you can even use raw honey to enhance the flavors of the chocolate. Chocolate is so delicious. It's such an interesting one too. Have you guys ever eaten the actual chocolate, the bean or whatever? So bitter, so bitter. Did you guys know that bitters are typically good for parasites? Somebody Google that. Google if chocolate is anti-parasitic in some way, just because it happens to be bitter. Sometimes I come up with stuff like that, and then I Google them, and then I learn something. I'm like, oh, see, interesting. Like I said, most stuff that comes from plants, guys, just seem to have all these very interesting attributes to them. And I think I'm going to be out of carrots. You know, carrots are one of the cheapest things you can get that are so good for you. I'm getting these 1 pound bags of organic carrots for 99 cents. It's like, yeah, super, super good for you. And I'm just about out. Like I said, I got to go grocery shopping today. I'm almost out of everything. So, guys, those are some of the secrets. I think if you can just do just the basics, water, hydrogen, and smoothies, and some of the nutrients, powders, and some of the drops that I'm going to show you here in a second. I mean, it's pretty easy. It's not complicated, but to explain that to a doctor over the phone, it's like, well, first you got to load up on hydrogen, and they're going to be like, hydrogen? What are you talking about? Like, they never have a clue. You know, they're always like, hydrogen. And then it's like, oh yeah, and you got to clean your water. And they're like, oh, we filter our water. You know, it's funny. I actually got to see some testing from water that was in a hospital. Isn't that crazy? And it was terrible. They were not. It was. I mean, if they brought me a glass of water in a hospital and they're like, "Here, would you like some water?" I'd be like, "No, thanks. No, thanks. I'm good." You know, practically as good as tap water. But somehow it was worse. I don't know why it was worse in the hospital. Which is kind of weird. It was weird. It was a very strange. Kind of confused me there for a moment. I was like, "What?" Kind of weird. Okay, so what we're gonna do is add a little bit either more clean water or hydrogen water. Obviously, hydrogen was always going to be better if you have access to it. Add a little bit of that because we're about to add some final ingredients so we can get on with drinking this already because I'm hungry. Actually, I'm not that hungry, but I'm a little hungry. Let's see. I stopped eating. I don't know. I think I must have stopped eating around. I try to stop eating as early as I can, but I think I was done with dinner around 6, maybe 6:30. So that's been how many hours? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's a good 17, 18 hours, somewhere in that neighborhood of intermediate fasting. It's good to give the body a little bit of a break. I know people, literally, I seriously know people who just never stop. They eat and then later on then they snack and then they just eat more. I mean, like they just never give their body a rest. I know one person recently who was dealing with some pretty major medical issues, and I'm pretty sad by it because, they don't want to make certain changes. I get it. But anyway, they literally get up in the middle of the night to eat. Can you believe that? They get up and they don't even they don't even give their body a rest at night. They wake up in the middle of the night to eat and then go back to bed. I'm like, holy smokes. Okay, let's add some magic ingredients. I'm going to show you, well, we already had the magic powder. I already showed you guys that. That's one of the magic ingredients. All the ingredients in this thing are magic, in my opinion, because fruits and vegetables are magic. But here we go. Here's one of the magic ingredients. You guys ready for this? Minerals, where they remove the salt, though. Remove the salt. So they're not salty. You just get the pure minerals. And I'm going to add them in here. People add them in their water. That's fine. I much prefer to add them to the smoothie. I've seen research now to confirm that I was right. Not trying to toot my own horn against. I'll tell you when I'm right and I'll tell you when I'm wrong. I got no problem doing that. And I will tell you. I'll be like, hey, you know what? I was wrong about this. I was right about that. And so it's going to get noisy. I'm going to blend this thing and dump the compost. But the minerals absorb better with fiber is what this research study showed. Okay, let's get rolling. And I'm going to grab, let's see here. I'm going to grab some jars. Oh, rain on here. I dumped my compost. I'm going to grab the jars and put a little bit of hydrogen water in there again to improve absorption, in my opinion. Periodically, I like to stop the blender. It lets everything settle down to the bottom so it can get chopped up and then start over. There we go. We just put a very small amount of hydrogen water. I mean, you don't have to. This is just the way that I do it. My personal little secret here. I'll grab another magic ingredient, which might be downstairs, so I'll be right back. And whoop, it looks like it's downstairs. So I'm going to let that blend. I'm going to assume by the time I get back, there's a lot of stairs. 3 stories here. Once I get back there, it should be very well blended. Okay, here we go. There you are. Oh, I love these hemp parts. Full of nutrients, like totally bonkers nutrients. They're almost like a multivitamin in themselves, multi-minerals in food form. Yeah, I like them in food form. The way the nature made them seems to be the way the body likes it. Just seems to be the way. I don't know. That's what the research shows. Makes sense. And that should be well blended. So let's open up my bag, brand new bag of organic hemp parts. Yeah, if you want to see the nutritional label on this sucker, holy cow, very impressive considering there's only one ingredient in there, which would be hemp hearts. Actually, that's not going to be the next ingredient. Whew, I forgot about these magic ingredients. Okay, let's see here. Let's see here. Wow. A lot of comments. I guess I won't have time to read them all through right now. Let's just do this and then I'll answer whatever. Wow, look at this. It's almost spilled over. I didn't realize I put that much in there. Oh yes, chocolate thunder. Here we go. Raw cacao in my magic smoothie today. Now cacao's got a bunch of good benefits too. Rich in good minerals too. Okay, here we go. First one. And this is why I pour them halfway through, because this is my multivitamin in food form, these smoothies. But I got to add a few things because this ingredient I'm about to add is almost impossible to get it from your food. Definitely gets fortified often in foods. And I ate food yesterday that would probably have some of this in there, but it's just not going to be enough. Not even close. This is too important, and that's D3 with K2. And remember, it's ionic because food is going to be the best way, but ionic is the second best way, in my opinion, from just the stuff that I've been reading. And here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm probably doing somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000-6,000 IUs with these drops. But that doesn't mean that I don't do vitamin D in other ways too. But that's just to start my day off. Don't want to overload my body. Here's the next one, boron, ionic. Yes, it's good for the brain. Yes, it's good for the bones, the ligaments, and sexual hormones. Not sexual hormones, sex hormones. Sexual hormones, that's funny. sex hormones. So basically, for men, it's good, testosterone. Women, it's good for estrogen, but their testosterone too. I mean, it's just good for both men and women from everything that I've been reading about. I did a whole video on it, and I've been experimenting with it. Let's just dump a little in here because it's running really low, which is too bad. The other drops that I did also have it, some boron in them, which is these guys right here. These guys also have, well, let's just check, make sure I'm right. Yeah, it's got potassium, it's got magnesium, boron, there it is. It's got boron, lithium, It's funny about minerals because some of them in different forms, they could potentially be bad for you. And so this is why I like to get them from like natural sources, food or something like the ocean or something. Chlorophyll, this one has been shocking me. You know what? I think I'm going to add extra today just because I've been playing around with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is what I've been doing. Oh, there was 7. I'm going to go with 8. 1, 2, 7, 8. I've been doing 6 lately. I'm just going to try a little more. I've been digging it. I've been digging it a lot more than I thought I would. Way more than I thought I would. I don't know. I just like it. Tastes really like rich and green. It feels like you're just eating condensed super greens. And I am down for super greens. All right, here we go. So there's breakfast. This one, put away for later. Later, dude. Mater. Little Mater. That tow truck from that cartoon. A Mater. All right. Here we go. One of the most magical ingredients, hemp hearts. Hemp, the cannabis plant, has so many interesting properties, I must say. Very interesting. And you know what? They just happen to be delicious. Magically delicious. Actually, they are. They really are delicious, guys. I gotta tell you. And all they are is shelled hemp seeds. That's all it is. And yet they're so nutty and delicious. Okay. And I like to chew on something while I'm drinking a smoothie because it's good to activate digestion. So here we go. Yes, today's is good. Okay, let's move the phone, read some of your comments and questions, and then I'm going to go about my day, probably go grocery shopping. Okay, let's see if this will reach. Okay, final ingredient. There is one more ingredient. I believe it's classified these days as a food, if you can believe that. It's kind of wild to think of it as a food. But here comes the next magic ingredient. Excuse me. Give me 1 second. I can come and sit down and, well, read what you guys want to talk about. And the final ingredient is hydrogen. This is what they should be checking on for people's absorption of nutrients. See, I'm going to drink this while I'm inhaling. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, you inhaled hydrogen, man? I sure did. Okay, let's take out this here. Magically delicious. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. You're probably saying a lot of stuff. Okay, let's see here. Holy cow. Let's see. Okay. Shauna says, yeah, when your body is used to the good stuff and you have a cheat day, your body really reacts. Yeah, well, my body would react no matter what. I'm just sensitive. Actually, I found that the more I take care of myself, I can have cheat days and not super suffer. But I'm sensitive and doesn't feel the best. Good. What did you eat, Greg? I ate, what do they call it? They call it, it's not kochugadu, it's ochazuke. I had some ochazuke with a piece of salmon, which is basically like a broth and rice, some vegetables, but it had salmon. So I did have fish yesterday, and then I had some different types of sushi. Mostly vegetarian, but they added some sauce on it, which I'm not super fond of. It was a little sweet, and I'm like, oh, it's not usually the way that I would do it. What else did I have? I know I had something. What did I have? I had, I'm trying to remember what I grabbed. I was gonna record it for you guys. I should have just recorded it. I just, at the restaurant, I want to do that. But too much salt, soy sauce, sweeteners, even in a Japanese restaurant. It's crazy. Okay. Bringer says, upon arriving in jail, I realized that it was difficult at first to even eat their food. It tasted and smelled not right. It slowed down my digestion system a lot. Wow. I don't doubt it. They probably don't give you the best stuff there, do they? They're not going to let you have smoothies and hydrogen water. Viva Las Veggies says, hola. Bringer says, then, after being freed and eating what I normally do, it's like I didn't realize how much better even the regular crappy processed food is compared to jail food. Holy cow, really? Trying to kill you in there? Wow. Terry says, well, I suppose that works as a deterrent. And Bringer says, a deterrent for being in jail? Nah, because almost everyone I was in there with has been there before multiple times. I don't know. Maybe they just like it, but I definitely didn't. Terry says, yuck, the water in the hospital served warm in a plastic jug. Mm-hmm. Tell you one thing, guys, thank God for organic farmers. You gotta love your farmers, Even the ones that don't do it organically, but I prefer the organic ones because those poor people have to work with all those chemicals. That's crazy. Anytime you're working with chemicals to grow your food, people who use chemicals to make their hydrogen, when you use chemicals for working on cars, it's just not going to be good for your health, Bringer says, wow, that's what you call irony. Yep. And then Terry says, LOL, my sister eat 4 chocolate bars overnight. Holy cow, 4? Jeez. That's when you have to find a healthier way of getting the chocolate in you. Sharing this around. Shoshana Horton says, yes, it's very important where your ingredients come from. LOL, smack, smack, yum as you eat. Well, yeah, yeah. Okay, Bringer says, is it because of impurities in the bulk hydrogen based on how it's sourced? Or is it an atomic thing with the hydrogen itself that makes it more or less good? I totally understand what you're asking, Bringer. Impurities in the bulk hydrogen based on how it's sourced. The hydrogen just comes out of water, by the way. It's all about how you extract it to make it cleaner. Extract it cleanly, no chemicals. And you need a very high quality metal to do it cleanly. Maybe you can try to elaborate, I'm not quite sure. Bringer says, I seen a guy on YouTube who converted his trailer's oil container to electrolysis water for use in hydrogen burner to heat his home and enrich the air inside. He said it even cured health conditions. Yeah, I know about those. And those guys, they don't tell you the whole story because I looked into it too. And there's a chemical that you have to add to do it. Eventually it's non-sustainable and pollutes a lot. And I would never use something like that. My spell check sucks. He converted his oil container into an electrolysis chamber and ran it through an HHO pilot light. Yeah, I know. That's exactly the ones they use. They're the ones who use the chemical called lye, sodium hydroxide, the main ingredient in Drano, by the way. And you have to continue to use this in order to, and you need metal in order to continue to do this process, and eventually it's non-sustainable. There's got to be a different way to do it. Well, there is a different way, I just haven't revealed it just yet. But most people don't really, actually I would say almost nobody knows about it. Okay, about the jail thing, I think they are trying to make us less healthy. Yeah, probably. The bulk of all the hydrogen, is it impurities mixed in with the total of the derived hydrogen that makes it bad, or are the hydrogen atoms themselves affected? Oh, I see. It's just a byproduct. It's kind of like if you're trying to take out a pure extract. I don't know what would be a good example, but like you're trying to extract something specifically. You know, like water. Maybe water's a good example. You know, do you just want to drink tap water? Do you want to drink water out of the sewer? Or do you want to run it through a process where you extract only the purity and you're only drinking the pure water? Same thing with hydrogen. You want just that special, you just want the hydrogen. You don't want the chemicals to go along with it. And they try to filter them, and good luck with that, because you shouldn't try to make it with chemicals and then try to filter. You should just make it right, clean the first time, you know. And you want pure hydrogen. They're not getting pure hydrogen. They're doing HHO, which is not quite pure hydrogen. And then oxygen's part of it. And you probably don't want to be doing that either. So, okay. If you guys have any last questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and shut her down early today. We were able to do it all under 1 hour. Great. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. Wish you all the best. Greg, how is your brother doing with his kidney problems? Oh, okay. I understand, says Bringer. Yeah, hydrogen itself is, you know, clean. Just like water, technically, if you remove all the crap in it. Yeah. Oh, my brother's doing good. He's stable. He's already backsliding. He's eating and doing things he shouldn't be doing. Yeah, if I continue to eat like if I don't take quite good care of myself, I'll probably end up and down the same road. So, gotta take care of yourself. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing, subscribing, all that wonderful stuff, and asking questions and hanging out. And thank you. I will have a good day, Alice. Thank you, you too. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Call your old friend Susan. Well, I would just say email me and always include a phone number if you guys want to call. Okay, take care, guys. Bye-bye.